Hi there, and thank you so much for visiting the Explaining History YouTube channel. Now, if you've come and found this video, it's probably because you're doing an essay or an assignment on Stalin's death and Khrushchev's secret speech. So I'm going to tell you very quickly everything you need to know, hopefully, about the secret speech. So, Stalin dies in 1953, and there's no immediate successor to him. The question as to who's going to take over is a very complicated one, and by 1956, Nikita Khrushchev has emerged as the new leader of the Soviet Union. By 1953, Stalin had killed something in the order of about 7 million Soviet citizens through famine and terror. And the labour camps that Stalin had established, the gulags dotted all over Russia, had contained, at their height, well over 2 million Soviet citizens. So there had been something in the order of about 5 to 6 million Soviet citizens had been through the gulags. So the impact on Russia had been immense. Stalin's critics were unable to say anything about him while he was alive, and when he died, it was widely anticipated that change would come. The first thing that happens is that the camps, the gulags, are closed, and their inmates are able to return to what is left of their lives. Many of them return home in a terrible shape, and they return home to find out often it was their neighbours or even their family members that denounced them and wound them up in imprisonment. Khrushchev, in 1956, makes a speech to the 20th Party Congress of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, and in it he says that Stalin had gone too far and had acted as a tyrant, that the show trials that he had put other party members on were deeply wrong, that the terror and the gulags had been horrendous mistakes. And the reason why he does this isn't because he believes any of this. Khrushchev was deeply involved in many of Stalin's crimes, particularly against the Ukraine. No, Khrushchev does this because it is his way of attempting to present himself as the future of the Soviet Union. Khrushchev does this because he wants to say, well, first there was Lenin, who became before Stalin. Lenin was right. Lenin was essentially good. Stalin made mistakes. Stalin misunderstood what Lenin wanted and was bad. I am a return to Lenin. And so it was a way of him bolstering his own power. But there were consequences. The first being that the newest communist power in the world, China, is horrified by what Khrushchev has had to say. Khrushchev and Mao, the leader of Communist China, were in a period of rising tensions anyway, and this really escalates them. The Chinese believe that Stalin was correct, and Mao particularly looked upon Stalin as a mentor. And when Khrushchev denounced Stalin, Mao assumed that Khrushchev was denouncing him as well. Mao now saw himself as the leader of the communist world, ready to take over from Stalin, who had now died. The other consequence was that Eastern European countries that had been occupied by the Soviet Union at the end of the Second World War, and who wanted their freedom, looked upon the pronouncements of Khrushchev and the opening of the labour camps in the Soviet Union with great interest, and they assumed that this meant that Stalinism was over and that there would be a thaw. This was one of the main factors that began the pro-democracy movement in Hungary in 1956, and Khrushchev very quickly shows that there will not be this relaxation of tensions, and he brutally cracks down on the movement, crushing it in later 1956. So this speech has real consequences. And it made Khrushchev an international celebrity. Initially, he went on a world tour to Great Britain and to India and to other countries where he was greeted as a hero as he was seen to be kind of burying Stalin's legacy. But also it shows that when these kinds of things happen, when the secret speech happens, it inevitably brings about immense change. Anyway, I hope this has been useful. If you want more videos like this every week, subscribe and make sure you get your weekly updates on modern history.